FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band. And this was actually a band we had on about a year ago. And the band I'm talking about is Silvertung. And, of course, you've heard some of their stuff here on The Dark. Of course, the first song that we had for you guys out there was Coming Alive. And now their current song is Never Too Late. And that's, of course, off their album Devils in the Details. And on the phone right now, I'm talking with Speed. And Speed, it's been about a year ago since you and I had a chance to talk. How things going in the last year?
JZ, it's been going great, brother. First off, I want to say thank you so much for all your love and support through the last year, man. It's really appreciated.
Absolutely, we love the CD, and our listeners out there too. In fact, after the interview's done here, I got some more CDs to give away and some T-shirts too that your promotions department has sent our way. So we're going to get those out later on. But we want to follow up a little bit on how the band has done over the past year here since we had talked. And I know you had a lot of things planned in 2014. How did it all turn out in 2014?
2014 was a good year. I can't say it was great. We had a lot of challenges that we actually overcame. Like some of the touring that we did on the festivals, we ended up on more festivals than we were expecting to. So that turned out really good for us. We got to meet a lot of new friends, should I say, with a lot of the nationals, and that was a great move. And made a really, really good connection with our good friends from Pop Evil. Lee and I become really good friends over the last year. And he's been mentoring us just a little bit and talking to me a little bit about some stuff. And it was a good year. I cannot complain. We did very, very well. This year has already started off even better. So we're kind of on this upclimb. Thanks to the fans, we're on this upclimb of excitement, and everybody's getting more excited because not only are we touring more, but we're actually starting to write more now with some new material that we're dying to put out. But it probably won't be until fall we get a chance to put it out, though.
Hey, that's okay. Obviously, the last time we talked to you, we got to know a little bit about the history of the band and that. So for our listeners, if they want to know about that, they can check out it on our YouTube page, The Dark, on FM 94, and they can hear that interview from last year. But there were some things in that interview that I wanted to follow up on you a little bit with. One of them is you mentioned you went out on a lot of festivals. You got to meet a lot of new bands. And I know last time we had a chance to talk, you were going to get a chance to meet Myles Kennedy from Alter Bridge, and you were just giddy as could be that was going to happen. Did that happen? And then how did it all shake down then when you met him?
Yes, I was excited, and it did happen. So I have to say I was very excited. But being in the industry and being on this side of things, you kind of learn, not to approach someone at a certain time. You don't approach someone when they're getting ready to go on stage or anything because their mindset is completely different. So we were down in Rockville for Welcome to Rockville, that festival, and we ended up having like 14 interviews after the show. So we were doing the interviews, and one of the interviewers said to me, she says, "So what bands were you guys excited to see?" And Alter Bridge was playing. So I just pointed over to the main stage, and she apologized for having the interview, and I was like, no. I said, hopefully I'll get my chance to meet him today. I said, Myles Kennedy has been a huge impact on me as a vocalist. And we were sitting down at dinner, and we were just chilling out. We were kind of shaking off at the day and kind of getting our heads back ready for the tour again and getting back on the road. And I turned around, sitting behind me was Myles Kennedy.
Wow.
So you could imagine how excited I was at that point, because I'm like, man, what do I say to a guy that's been an idol of mine for the last 4 years?
Right.
And oddly enough, we both got up at the same time, and I went over to get some more water, and he grabbed water at the same time, and I looked at him. I said, "Hey, Myles, how you doing?" He said, "Great, man." He said, "Didn't you guys perform earlier this morning?" And I was like, well, maybe it was early this morning for you, but it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me. So we started laughing about it. And I told him, I said, I got to be honest, man. I said, you've been an idol of mine for a while now. And he was the most humblingest person I've ever met.
Wow.
He was like, dude, that's so awesome, man. I'm glad I actually reached out to you that way. I said, you did, man. I said, just to hear your voice is amazing. Hopefully when I grow up, I'll be that good, And he said to me, he said, I watched your performance. He said, you guys did very, very well. He said, I really couldn't even give you any pointers for vocalists. He said, I don't think there's anything wrong with your voice. And I said, well, that's great. I said, but, can we talk a little bit about vocals? So we did about a 20-minute talk about vocals. And then, I shook his hand, took some pictures with him, and walked away. And I think that was my highlight of the day. I mean, we played in front of about 3,000 to 4,000 fans.
Right.
But that was still a highlight for me. I mean, I guess people get confused. Even though you're in the band and you're playing on large stages and you're touring with large bands, we're still fans. We're still humans. We're still fans of these bands that we're touring out here with. And it's great when you finally get to meet someone that has been your idol for a while.
That is awesome. I'm so glad I was able to ask you that, and I'm glad that you're able to meet him, too, and get an opportunity to be with him, because I know when we did that interview, and if you ever listen back to that interview we did, that was the one thing that you were all excited about, getting an opportunity, and you were even talking about how fans come up to you and they don't know what to say, so I was kind of seeing how that went with you, and it sounded like it went out great for you, so...
Yeah, and it's very. It brings us back to reality because we see fans that come up to us and they react the same way I did with Kent with Miles, but you respect that. That's a respect. It's a good boundary between you and someone else out of respect. It's not like, oh, I'm a rock star and you're just a fan. It has nothing to do with that because to be honest with you, without the fans, there are no rock stars. So,
right. Hey, we're talking with Speeds, lead singer of the band Silvertung, and kind of following up with him. We talked to him last year, got to learn about the band a little bit. And, another question that I asked before, too, was that cover song. If somebody had to do a cover of your song, who would you want? You said Nickelback back in the time and Daddy's Little Girl. Have we had an opportunity to maybe make that happen yet?
No, I think Chad would probably laugh at me at this point.
They've been too busy, right? They're a little too busy right now, aren't they?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said they're a little too busy right now, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. I mean, between his marriage and, his touring, I guess, he doesn't have time to sit down and talk about anything.
Well, the one thing I wanted to ask you is who have you played with for the last year? Who are some of the bands that you've had an opportunity to get to meet, and really maybe are some of the new bands that you haven't played with before that you're making friends with? I know you said with Lee and Pop Evil, but are there some other bands out there that you've worked with in the last year?
Otherwise was one, and
okay.
Actually, Crowbot. We did a few shows with those guys. Great bunch of guys. I mean, we did some shows earlier in the year with them last year, and then we did some stuff later, and then we just hooked back up with them again early this year. And I think we were just out with them last weekend, I think it was. And they're just a bunch of great guys, great band. They're very, very talented and very down to earth. We were hanging outside talking about, their ventures over in the UK and stuff. As we're trying to get, once we get a few things squared away, I think we're going to get to that level to where we'll be able to spread out a little bit more and hopefully go visit the UK. We're looking at Alaska right now, but I want to wait till summertime.
Yeah. You might want to wait for that. And maybe
otherwise, it's been a great band that we've been around with. And actually, we got to do a lot more shows this past year with Saliva.
Oh, okay.
And I became really good friends with Bobby as
Yep.
well. And we're just making a lot of really good friends. And the cool thing is when you play with other bands, and this one in particular, when we were back out with Pop Evil, Lee had said to me, he said, you guys are really coming up in the business. And I said, really? I said, well, why do you say that? He said, because bands that open up for us ask about you guys.
Very cool.
And I said, what? And he said, yeah. He said, your name is climbing in the industry to the point of, bands respecting the fact of all your hard work.
Right.
And I said, well, that's, I couldn't ask for anything more than that.
Absolutely. And obviously you've probably done a bunch of interviews since the time we have talked. I guess here's a question for you. What's the weirdest question you've been asked in some interviews? Can you remember any?
Yes, and it just happened this year.
It wasn't my show, was it now?
Someone said to me, they said, if there was something that you didn't want your fans to know about you, what would you say? What is it? And I'm like, well, if I didn't want them to know, then I don't need to tell you.
Exactly. Oh, I tell you. Well, we're not always the greatest in the biz either. Have you been to Minnesota? Well, go ahead.
It was kind of weird because the way she asked it, she reiterated, sexually, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, well, if you want to go sexually, you ever heard of the 3-minute man? And she was like, yeah. And I said, well, try 5 hours. And she was like, oh my God.
Hey, we're talking with...
Come back with something elaborate.
We had to do that. We got to talk. We're talking with Speed of Silvertung. Of course, we learned out your name came from a porno, remember? And then we talked about Daddy's Little Girl, and you wrote that in a strip club. And now we're getting some of the interviews you did, people asking about sexual questions. So you got to love this band.
Do I ever come off sexually? I mean, I don't think I portray that. I don't think.
You got to. If you're a true rocker, you got to love the band. That's all it comes to it. And the one thing I remember back in the interview that we did last year is you guys really just are having a good time, having fun, aren't you?
Yes. We enjoy being around each other. We enjoy being around our fans, and we're making new fans every day. So, we just toured through North Carolina down to Florida and came back, and we made so many new fans that, some people you don't remember names, but you always remember a face.
Mm-hmm.
And it was someone that was in the Maryland area that now lives in Jacksonville, Florida. Well, we were playing down there, and she came up to me, and she was like, Speed, do you remember me? And I'm like, no, I don't. But your face looks familiar. So, and then we just started having a good time with them. And it's just, to meet new people, I mean, not everybody gets a chance in life to do what we do.
Right.
And to actually go out and meet people and have people respect you for what you do and just have fun with you. Right. That's what we're all about. We're about making new relationships and hanging out with people. And just, when you come to the show, we want you to forget about all your problems for the next 2.5 hours.
Absolutely.
Let us enjoy each other and our time together.
Have you been to Minnesota yet?
No, but we want to go back out there. We were close out into that area. Was it last year? And from what I'm hearing, the scene out there is really, really good.
It is.
So there's been a few other bands that have asked us to go out there with us, but at the time we were already booked.
Right. That's okay. It seems like we get dodged a lot up here in Minnesota for some reason, but that's okay. One day you'll come up here.
Yes, we definitely want to come up and hang out with you guys, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Hey, how about let's talk about the story behind the current radio single that you have out right now, and of course that current single is Never Too Late. What's the story behind that song?
There's actually multiple stories of why the song and how the song was written. It was kind of a dark period in my life. When I was 18 and I got married. Okay, I was stupid. Sorry. So it didn't work out. And then my mom passed of cancer. And I was just having a really, really hard time. And then, I'm reading about friends of mine that were coming back from the service, and there were suicides, and a lot of people that were around me were having divorces, and people just kind of giving up, giving up on things. And it kind of inspired me to sit down and start writing about, life can be better, things can be better. Mm-hmm. And then that's when that title, It's Never Too Late, came to me. That, it's never too late to make changes, and it may not be the perfect change for everyone, but it may be the perfect change for you. And that's kind of what we don't really gear it on one thing, but there are things in our time that we've experienced that has created me, especially me, to sit down and write this stuff about that, about little issues and things in life. And we just want people to know that there's more to life a lot of times than what you see. You just got to be willing to make the change, and that's kind of where Never Too Late came from.
Very cool, very cool. So you said you're starting to write some new stuff here, and obviously your CD, Devils in the Details, has been out for a little bit. So is there some new stuff on the horizon for Silvertung?
Yes. Yes, there's tons of new stuff. And there's probably, I want to say, about 8 songs backlogged at the moment.
Okay.
That we keep, when we get our chance to go back in the studio and we actually get a chance to write a little bit. On the road, we're writing all the time. We either have acoustic guitars with us, or we're in a hotel room and we got little tiny practice amps, and we'll sit there and we'll write with each other because we have so many ideas, and everybody wants to put their ideas out. But we're smart enough to go, okay, well, that idea is going to have to wait. Let's work with this one first. So, but there's really some really, really good songs that we're writing right now that we're really excited to put out. But, I guess we just got to wait for the right time.
Right.
I think sometime soon we're going to be taking a little bit of time off just to sit back and write, to catch up on the writing, should I say, to actually put the songs together.
Okay. How about any time soon we might hear a new single from you at all?
There's a possibility we may pull one more off of Devils in the Details.
Okay.
Only because it's been asked a lot to be played, and it seems to be a big fan favorite. But I really can't tell you what it is yet.
I was trying. Sometimes I can make them crack, but nope, not today. So good job, Speed. Good job, Speed.
I'm sure our manager is listening in going, you better not say it. You better not say it.
Well, you mentioned you haven't been up to Minnesota yet, but tour, and you're maybe taking a little break here, but I got to believe 2015 you're still going to be on the road playing a lot of music. And I guess the question I would like to ask you is, when you are playing live, is there a favorite song you have to play live?
Yes. It's ours. It's our song.
Okay.
Any one that we want to play is my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. I love coming out with Coming Alive.
Okay.
It's just, we try to open the show with that as much as possible. It's just that song that sets the pace and gets everybody in the mood to just have a good time. It's always been one of my favorite songs, because it's not about anything political or even other things that we've written about,
right.
About Never Too Late, stuff like that. It's just that party song that just sets the atmosphere as soon as we hit the stage.
Right.
I have to say, that's like I love starting off with that song, because so many people, you just get it from the beginning of the song. You just kind of feel it, and people just let loose, and they just forget. They just have a good time. So that would have to be my favorite.
So that's the song that's your favorite. That's the song you start out with, and normally a band likes to end on one of their known songs. So what do you end your sets on normally then?
Actually, we ended on something that's kind of old, kind of new. For us, it's new, but it's an older song. We always pay tribute. A lot of times we pay tribute to Dimebag Darrell.
Oh, yep.
And we'll do a rendition of Walk.
Okay, gotcha.
By Pantera. We'd love to close the show with that. So
very cool.
It seems and if we don't close it with that, we usually close it with Slow Me Down, one of our songs.
Okay. Cool. Hey, I know we have kind of run out of time here, but let's let the listeners know, too, how they can find out more about the band Silvertung.
The best way is www.silvertung.com, and it's T-U-N-G.
Yep, that's right. And that was got from a porno, but you just changed it to that T-U-N-G, right? Am I correct on that? This is what you told me last time. Am I right?
It is. It's just so funny to hear it back to me. It's so weird. It's like, man, we titled the band as our porno flick.
Why not? You're a rock band. Have fun. I love it. I know the Coming Alive song, too, you talked about that last time. It's basically about people that are in this little bubble, and they're breaking the bubble and coming out to be really who they are, right?
Exactly. Yeah. When you go to work, you have to dress a certain way, talk a certain way. But when you get out with your friends and you come to a live show, you can be who you really are. You get to let loose, drink, have a good time, drop the F-bomb, because you can.
Absolutely.
It's about music is about fun. It's all emotions, and some people seem to forget that, and some bands seem to even forget that. But that's what it's really about. It's an escape. So let's just have fun with it. That's what Coming Alive is exactly what you just said.
Absolutely.
About getting out of that bubble that you're in and forget taxes and all your crazy bills, and let's have fun together.
Let's have some fun. And you know what? Hopefully you'll make it up here sometime so we can have some fun too. Sound good?
Yes, we definitely want to come up there.
That would be great. That would be great. All right, we're going to play your latest song, Never Too Late, and let's do this again in about a year again if we don't meet anytime sooner. Sound good?
That sounds great, Daisy, but I want to meet you before then.
Oh, yeah. We'll make that happen. Or if I have to go find you in some other state, we'll go do that sometime, okay?
Here, that, or we'll just make a trek all the way across the United States and come over there to you guys.
Hey, we could do that right in the backyard. I got a lot of room back there. You can have a little backyard concert. That'd be great.
There we go. We'll throw up some acoustics, invite some of your best friends over, and we'll have some fun.
Sounds great. And once again, that is Speed from Silvertung. This is their latest song. It's called Never Too Late. You're hearing it right now on FM 94's